Hello, hello, and welcome back to yet another podcast of My2Cents. It's been a while since the last time I recorded something. I intend to make up for this lost time. I might record maybe 2 or 3 episodes this week. So if you care to listen, you should know that this week there will be 3 episodes tops. Anyway, you might have seen that I've been busy with other stuff, pretty autistic stuff with Dr. Bartolomeo, which is a new series that I've been meaning to do here, where Bart Simpsons is like a psychologist and he has different patients. Obviously, it's supposed to be a joke. I hope it's a funny one, though. It's kind of useless if it's not. But anyway, I hope everyone is all right. I hope everyone is doing well. And yeah, these past few weeks were pretty busy for me regarding work, which is great. But I've been a little tired. That's why I haven't recorded anything. The videos that I posted were just easier and faster to do than, revising some kind of script and some topics to talk to you guys here. Believe it or not, even though 90% is improvised, I always like to think a little bit before I record this, and this demands a little bit of time. So again, I'll try to compensate for it this week. Um, I am about to launch my Instagram account as well with comics. As you guys can see here, I use this drawing and I'm gonna do that on Instagram as well, but with comics, comic strips and maybe and hopefully also a little bit more funny, a little funnier, if you will. So today, actually, for this first one anyway, I have separated 3 stories from relationship advice subreddit. So it's same old, nothing new so far. Hopefully, I can do some tangents and analogies that will keep these stories interesting. But overall, is again just me giving my 2 cents in other people's lives. I really love this subreddit. Any subreddit that talks about advice, I like. I might use another subreddit for next podcast, which again, I intend to record this week. I will not be able to do that today. And even though it says every Friday, I think I've posted it in any other day but Fridays. Uh, um, anyway, whatever. So, the first one that I have separated here is a very short description. It's just about, a single, probably isolated type of situation that no one here ever heard about, or, and most likely, you heard about this and you can easily associate with anything in your life. Maybe not your personal life, but certainly a family member's or friend's life. So, the title says, Me, 21 years old female, and my husband, 27-year-old male, finally sat down and admitted to each other that the marriage is over. So it's like 3 lines long. I'll just read that and then comment. No juicy details, no extreme brawl. We've been together 12 years, one toddler. It's been over for 2 years, really. So why am I crying myself to sleep? Why am I hurting so much even though it's been over? Someone, for the love of God, tell me it doesn't hurt like this forever. Oh, that's sweet. Imagine, like, this girl, this woman, 31 years old, she got with this man, she got married with this man when she was a kid. She was just 19. It's a pretty young age. I don't know where they're from. Probably the United States. Usually people here are from the United States, but not necessarily, right? And I don't know. Here in Brazil, especially in the more religious groups, it's fairly common to marry early because it's not allowed to have sex, to have coitus, to have sexual intercourse with others if you're not married. So like just casual sex, a promiscuous way of life is not possible unless you have 50 marriages per year. So for a lot of these people, marrying early is the key. I don't know if this is the case with these guys here, but let's just assume they had a good reason. If they have a toddler after 12 years, we know this reason wasn't a child. Sometimes this happens, like the girl gets pregnant really young, and the both fathers or both mothers, families just pressure them to get married and do it the proper way. But it doesn't seem like this was the case. So maybe religious, maybe they just were in deep love. The guy is 6 years older than her, so he was 25. And God knows when they started dating. Hopefully she was 18, but if I guess there is a law, especially in the United States, like if the girl and the father gives consent, it's legal. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Let's not jump into conclusions. Let's just go to what happened. So they broke up and she's feeling pain. Why this happens? Um, I don't know if you guys listening to this ever had a big project. I don't know if you ever had like anything that you spend a long time doing, maybe for college, even maybe for school, maybe for work. It doesn't really matter. Like a big project that took a lot from you, a lot of time, a lot of effort, a lot of sacrifice, long hours, late hours, whatever. And then when you're finally done with that project, um, it's something similar to a depression kicks you in, and it hits you like a sometimes like a truck. Like it's really strong whenever you get hit by something like that after a big project. It's pretty strong. I know I have that. I always have a lot of things going on at the same time because I get bored easily and because I just got addicted to this feeling of finishing a project. I didn't used to be like this a few years ago, like 7, 8 years ago. I didn't used to be like this. I actually had a big problem finishing stuff. But when I finally got over with that, I dropped out of colleges and such. When I finally got over that, finished colleges, finished two superior degrees, finished some courses that I was doing, starting and finishing a lot of projects, regardless of being important projects or um, projects that gave me money or whatever it is. Just doing a lot of stuff at the same time, something that I got addicted to. And one of the reasons I'm always doing something is precisely that when I'm finished with a project, I feel like a little empty, especially if the project doesn't bring me much. Um, for example, right, I was doing like a portfolio for my wax portfolio. You know, I did three designs for websites and then a fourth big one with a wireframe, research, interviews, user, um, how can I say? They were just using the interface to test if the interface was clear enough, was obvious enough, was good enough. And I did a whole big project on that. I did a master class. Like this was a huge project of mine. I started last year and I was just finished this year. I updated my LinkedIn. I just was just all over the place with this project. And now that I'm over, technically what I should go after now is a new job, right? That's why you do such a thing. That's why you spend so much time in something to do something that is supposed to be professional is because you want to make money with it. So either sell your big projects or get a new job. And I am trying to get something as a freelancer to do a design for a website or something, or some research or whatever it is. And this doesn't make the project be that empty, you know? So this type of project is cool because even though you spend a lot of time, a lot of hours, a lot of effort and frustrations and anger and all that stuff, but when it's over, you're like, all right, there is a next step. But for example, I think it was in June or May. like a year ago or something, I wrote a book. So I've been meaning to write a book since forever. I've wrote short novels, I've wrote poems, I wrote comics. Like I've been writing my whole life, and since I don't think I'm really good at it, and I don't make any money out of it, I like it. I think it's just better to like something that you don't. It's not your job. It's more pleasurable to do something when it's just a hobby. I think when it becomes your job, like if I was a writer, I don't think I would enjoy it as much because I think the only exception to this rule is my English classes, or are my English classes. The English classes are my only exception to this rule because I like giving English classes. I like talking to my students. I like teaching people stuff. I like learning stuff. If they are from another country, I really enjoy learning their culture and their habits, if their personalities. And of course, I talk more to some students than others, but that's just natural, I suppose. And it's always a lot of fun. It's always great. Very few bad memories that I had there. And anyway, but this is like an exception to the rule. I don't think I'm the best at what I do. There's a lot of good English teachers, but I do believe I'm good, so otherwise I wouldn't be doing it. And it's something that grants me money. It's something that pays for everything that I have. So yeah, it's something that kind of exceeds this rule that if you have to do something, it's difficult to like it. But for example, when I was doing yoga, when I was a student, just when I had people training me, I had a lot of fun. I had the best time ever. I was really emotionally invested, financially invested as well. I spent a lot of money back then, and I had a lot of fun. But as soon as I started working with it was shit. It was really bad. And I know it's not like that for everybody, but for me, it was really, really bad because you need to work a lot. You need to go to a lot of different places, and the reward was just too little. Too much work for too little of a reward. Financial reward, I mean, I didn't get paid well enough. I had some good months, and even nowadays, I'm able to work with students that pay me properly and that respect me and that I have fun. But it's just a few students that I chose to giving yoga classes to. My main job is an English teacher, and being an English teacher is like what I really like to do. But with these yoga students that I have nowadays, I have a lot of fun. They are respectful. I plan my classes and they just go along with it, which is great. I explain things when I have to, obviously, and they pay me properly. I don't have a problem with payments with my current students. I used to have, since those classes are not exactly very cheap, a lot of people want to get away without paying. Um, and yeah, that's just my experience with paying. This is what we are this is what we are talking about. So big projects that when it's finished, you feel pain. And why is that? It's because a lot of shared memories happened during that project. That project in this case is a person. In the case of this woman, it is a person. It is her ex husband. It's a lot of shared memories, shared feelings, shared moments, shared situations, shared fears, shared loves, shared happiness. It's just a lot of shared memories for the course of 12 years. 12 years is a life, right? It's a life. Oh, it's not a human life. Yeah, it is. If you are 12 years old, you already had seen some stuff, and you've been through a lot, you know? You've been through a lot, especially depending on where you were born. But I think regardless, if you lived 12 years, it's already a life. Like, for example, right now I started studying Mandarin because I think it's important to know Chinese. I just think it is. It took me long enough to start it, and I've been studying a lot of Spanish, German, and French. I was getting really a lot better with my French specifically because I was being able to talk, and to listen a lot better. I was being able to have full conversations, not deep conversations, but they weren't as simple as just asking people for stuff in a supermarket. I was being able to talk about my day, being able to talk about my work, being able to talk about some articles that I read. I was having a lot of fun, but learning Mandarin right now is my main thing. And it's something that will take, for me to be fluent in Mandarin, it will take me several years. Like if I study every day and if I study a lot every day, I still think it's gonna take me at the very least 5 years. I cannot imagine that it would take less than that. And I'm talking about being really disciplined. If I'm not, it will certainly take even more than that. So you're talking about a 12-year marriage. It was a successful one. Yeah, it's been over for 2 years, whatever. 10 years of a successful marriage is a long time. It's a life, you know? The life that takes you to learn Mandarin, a life that takes you to be with a person and to share memories. So you had a joint life. You had a shared life. Again, with all these shared experiences since you were a young adult. And your 20s are very important because it's usually precisely where where any person really start to know themselves. It's very rare for a person to know who they are before they are 20 years old. I know a lot of people who think they know. I know a lot of those, especially, people that are really close to me that I'm able to make this judgment. Yeah, they think they know that they know themselves, and they don't, really don't, because you can only know who you are when you've seen and tried different things. If your whole life has been just the one thing, yeah, you don't know yourself, and it's fine. Um, I know a lot of people can go through their whole lives without really knowing who they are, and it's fine. They will be fine for it. They can still be successful. They can still be happy. I'm just saying, you don't know yourself, or at least it's very difficult to know yourself before you're 20 years old, unless you had a really, really rough childhood. If you had a normal to good childhood, you probably most likely don't know yourself. So when she got married, she still didn't know who she was, at least not completely. I mean, completely we never do, but she probably didn't have the slightest clue. And imagine getting married at that age. All these discoveries comes with another person. They are shared. So, I mean, it's again, very difficult. I don't know the exact statistics. That's why this podcast is called My 2 Cents and not like my expert opinion or something. But I really believe, based on my personal experiences and people around me, that when you get married really young, you are gambling a lot more than when you are marrying older. If you get married after your 30s, chances of success must be higher. Again, I don't have the research, so I cannot tell you that, but chances of success must be higher than people who got married before their 20s. In the mid 20s, like, I don't know. I have no idea. Maybe it's the most 50-50 situation that we have out there are people marry around their 20s. But if you are younger than 20 years old or older than 30, there is certainly a discrepancy there. Uh, I'm willing to bet even. I won't, but I'm almost willing to bet. Let's say that. So anyway, big project. Really young, really dumb, didn't know much, started to know thyself, had a kid, a toddler. Probably started building her career. I don't know because she didn't go into detail. So yeah, after a while, you're just another person. You're not, by your 30s, you're not the same person you were at your 20s. Okay? You're just not. I mean, I'm certainly not. If anyone that's listening to this know me for more than 5 years, you know what I'm talking about. I was a completely different person, completely different values, completely different, even as aesthetically, I was different. I was a lot dumber, I was a lot edgier, and I was just a dumb rock guy, rock boy, who had long hair, smoked, drank like a teenager, 23, 24-year-old teenager. Thankfully nowadays, I guess I matured because of all God, so many stupid mistakes that I did in my youth. I'm still young, right? I'm not even 30 yet. I'm gonna be 30 in like God knows how long. Let me see. 1, 2, 3 months. About 3 months, because I'll be 30 at exactly on exactly September 3rd. So yeah, 3 months. Okay. So technically, I guess I am 29 years old, 29 and 9 months old. Okay, whatever. Back to this girl. She's asking if this will hurt forever. Of course not. Of course not. I mean, I don't know how long it's been since she's been hurting, but it's probably days, maybe weeks, maybe months. But this pain doesn't last forever, obviously. And this pain is good. This pain is good. It's like she's grieving. It's like a part of her, again, shared life, shared experiences, shared memories. A part of her just died, and right now she's grieving for this lost part of her. And she'll be back to normal in all time. It could take a few weeks, could take a few months. Hopefully, it doesn't take more than a year. Sometimes it's the case. But yeah, this pain goes off. It's just, how these things work. And as per usual, I'm gonna read one of the comments. I did a really long tangent here, so I might as well read something else about this case. And oh, the guy called it My2Cents. That's cool. That's cool. It's not me, by the way. If you read this post on Reddit, it's almost 1,000 upvotes. He called My2Cents and a hyphen, which probably isn't worth a penny. Well, I should put this in the description of my YouTube channel. My 2 cents, which probably isn't worth a penny. It's a mourning of sorts. The death of all the hopes and dreams you had when you got married, the death of all the visions of you building a life together and growing old together, celebrating a 25th anniversary and then a 5th anniversary, the death of a part of your identity, being known as his wife. It's hard to it's hard to let go of someone you loved so deeply. And you still do love to some extent. Yeah, of course, you always love, like love doesn't just fades away, you know? It's just in a way, I hate to quote this because I heard that from a really stupid person a while back, but love transforms. This feeling just transforms. It just doesn't go away forever and it's gone and it doesn't matter. No, if you love the person once, you have feelings for that person, at least for the memory of that person. The feelings will still be there. Yeah, I mean, this guy is right on the money. He said what I did, but in a more articulated manner. So yeah, at least his 2 cents are more worthy than mine. And there's a few other comments, interesting ones, but I already spent too long here, so I want to go to another one. Hopefully that's okay. And just, this pain of just letting something go and giving yourself time to heal. Yeah, no pain is forever. Literally, no pain is forever. Unless you want it to. Some people want it to. I know people that suffer for years. Yeah, you want that, you know? Oh, but it's rude to say that people want to suffer. I know. I know it's rude. It's insensitive, but it's true. Maybe it's not like very conscious of them, but maybe that suffering brings them comfort, maybe brings them some attention that they enjoy, and that's why they keep hammering themselves into depression. I don't know. I really don't. But if you feel pain for too long, it's your fault. You're not doing anything to get better. Go to therapy, go to a psychiatrist. Just try to take hold of things. Like it's normal to suffer, but you shouldn't be suffering for years about the same thing. That is not okay, you know? Everybody's allowed to suffer, but not like that. Um, all right, so the next one is titled How Do I, male, 31 years old, break up with my girlfriend, female, 32 years old? So I'm gonna read if I have some comments, so just let you guys know that it's me speaking and not me reading, all right? So this is my first girlfriend. We are about 9 months in. It was iffy from the start, then I almost broke it off. Then I got in too deep, and now I'm realizing I want out. I used to want to see her all the time, talk all the time. No, I don't give a crap if we hang or talk. We want different things. She wants to be wined and dined at expensive places. We split the bills about half the time. I pay the other half, but I'm not into dropping $200 to $300 every time we hang out. That's not a normal relationship. When you are together, she doesn't want to be bothered, um, says we talk too much, etc. Honestly, last week she's done a lot of things wrong. She's done a lot of wrong things. I'm sorry. There's a lot of typos here. Maybe this guy is not American. He's not, whatever. I'm gonna read if I can correct as I'm reading, I will. But if I say something wrong, just blame this guy. From saying fuck you multiple times to me when drunk and hanging up on me because I asked her to get me from the airport, and when she said she had to get some work the next day done, and I said no worries, she goes fine, I'll get you. I said thanks for taking an hour to get me, and that set her off. She also said she stands by the fuck you and won't apologize. She told me a guy she had a one night stand with a year ago before we met is the nicest and sweetest guy ever, not me, who treats her perfect and does every favor for her, etc. But this guy is the nicest ever. She told me she wants to have sex with the guy her friend is hooking up with the guy her friend is hooking up with. Sorry, there are no punctuation. This is tough to read. Her friend is hooking up with, but justified it because he has a lot of Instagram followers and is basically a celebrity, so she could say that. Today, I text her about a job offer I got. Crickets. Like she didn't say anything. She did go on Insta and Snapchat for 30 minutes I saw and wouldn't even text me a congrats or anything. I want out. I want to have fun this summer, work on myself, get in better shape, plus I have a few fun, big life changes coming professionally, and I want to find someone who appreciated me, values me, etc. I've never broken up with someone. I hate confrontation. How do I do this? And I'm scared it's the wrong decision. I'm scared it's the wrong, I'm afraid it's the wrong decision. All right. Well, I don't know. This guy says he's 31, but he sounds like he's younger. Listen, every relationship in the beginning is bound to just be filled with disappointment, and it's dealing with these disappointments that this relationship is allowed to evolve. Because every time you get together with someone, when you're still getting to know them, you always knowing the best parts of that person. That's it. Yeah, that's what the person allows you to see, their best parts. And all the rest, it's in your head. All the rest is just you imagining um, how that even computes with your personality, your values. And you usually go in a pretty optimistic view. Like when you don't know the person, very rarely you'll be just, oh, it's probably a piece of shit. It's most people just assume nice things, or you assume the worst, you know? I think in this case, when you don't know the person, assuming the worst is better because you will not disappoint yourself. But I don't know, a part of you will always think the world of this person at the beginning. This is what we call passion. When you have passion for someone, is because the relationship is very immature. You guys don't know each other well enough. That's why there is such thing called passion. Love, in the other hand, comes after. It comes when you guys already know each other, already know how flawed and perfect. You both are, and you learn to accept it. Love is rational and passion is irrational. You can only be irrational for so long, eventually fades away. I don't think I ever met or ever heard of a couple which passion lasted more than 5 years. It doesn't mean there's no more sex, it doesn't mean there's no more love. All these things can still happen, but it will take a rational effort. Marriage is a choice that you're just making daily. And I've talked about this in previous episodes. You guys probably already heard it or already think like that, or maybe not. Nobody ever comments on this podcast, but if you disagree, please let me know. It's helpful and fun to have people disagree with you. I like that. I could even maybe mention it in a next episode or whatever. But yeah, it's pretty naive to think that Prince Charming or Princess Charming, whatever, you're gonna find someone that is perfect. And this guy is honestly just upset. Again, he sounds younger than he says he is because a lot of his frustrations are just expectations he's putting in this person. He's obviously going out with someone that is not who he pictured. And that's why I think it's naive. You, of course, in your heads, at least most of the time, you're gonna picture someone that is perfect for you and create some real expectations. Like he clearly expects her to congratulate him for his new job offer. He clearly wants her to not be so superficial, but if this is who she is, if she likes expensive shit, she has probably always been like that. So she's not gonna change. And at least I agree with his decision of breaking up with her. I think it's the only way out. And I think it depends. How do you break up? If you guys don't live together, it's so easy. Like it's the easiest thing ever. If you don't live with your girlfriend, just meet her at a place, talk to her, and say we are done. Or maybe meet her at her place. You go to her place. Or maybe you guys just, I don't know, just a public place or whatever, but you don't want to make her leave her house to break up with her. So just go to her place. I don't think you should just message or text or whatever, but you can do that too. You know, you can just send her a text and say it's over. Because if it is over, the best thing you do is just break up right away. The more you stall, the worse it will be for you and for her. It's just no one deserves, no one needs that really. So yeah, if you don't live together, it's easy. You don't like confrontation, it doesn't matter. You can just suck up, be a fucking man, go up to her, say, hey, listen, we are done. And for the looks of it, she'll agree. She'll not fight for you at all. But I could be wrong. Maybe she likes being with you. She likes having this dynamic with you. And maybe she'll try to win you over. And maybe she'll try to offend you, to get you to react. Just go there, say what you have to say, and leave. That's it. That's, I mean, yeah, there's no. If you were a married guy wondering how you would leave your wife and kids, how you would tell your wife that it's over, that is complicated. But if you're just dating, just say that it's over. Like, all right. Let me see his last phrase here. Never broken up with someone before. I hate confrontation. How do I do this? Yeah, I think this is his only question. I'm afraid it's the wrong decision. It's not. So just answering that. If you're feeling like that, I don't think you're ready for someone yet. You need to figure out who you are and what you want a little bit better, I think. And don't settle. You're still 31, so if you know what you want, just don't settle. Oh, she doesn't like the same things, and she really makes me unhappy a lot of the time. Like, why would you settle for that? It doesn't make any sense. So don't settle. Do your own thing, and yeah, I mean that's it. There is nothing wrong with this decision. I think it's the correct one. and you shouldn't be scared. You should just suck up, go up to her, tell her it's over, and that's it. And then again, I'll just read the first comment here. Personally, I don't think it's a wrong decision. So this guy agrees with me. From what I've read, it sounds like this relationship is unhealthy for you. True. Feel out what your gut, head, and heart are telling you. And by that he meant instinct, logic, and emotions. For bringing it up, I think you could either call her or meet up with her if you are comfortable with it. Good luck. Oh, and then actually OP responded, the original poster responder. I mean, I didn't even mention half the shit too. A guy who still hits her up that, sorry, a guy who still hits her up that she claimed that first was just a friend, then was that they met on a dating app, then it was that they made out once, then it came out they barely hooked up, then it was they had full on sex, and she sees nothing wrong with him DMing her and her responding and engaging. Yeah, again, this guy just sounds like he's like 18 or something, man. It's so weird. And he says the girl is 32 with this behavior. Yeah, I think he lied about the age. I don't know if he's lying about the situation, right? It's Reddit. It could be just all just a hoax, but let's just assume the story is true. I don't think the ages are true, and this is important. If you're over 30 and you're doing this shit as a guy, if you have all these insecurities as a guy, and if you're being this superficial as a girl, over 30, please take some time to reconsider your life. Because, I mean, who the fuck am I to say that people are immature? But honest to God, this is too much. This is too much. This doesn't sound like adult problems to me. These sound like teenage problems. Like, oh, she doesn't text me, and she doesn't congratulate me, and she wants to go to expensive places, and she's talking about a guy she hooked up with, and she's lying about it. Dude, everybody lies about this shit. And if they're not good liars, this happens. Every time you talk about it, it's just a different story. And at least it's good that she's a bad liar. Um, the conversation continues. The guy says, "Sounds like you can't trust her. Sorry this happened to you, man. I say bring it up as soon as possible. You don't deserve this. If I were you, I'd be heartbroken." And then he says, "That's the thing. A few months in, I would have been heartbroken, and I would get heartbroken when I'd see her go on Insta and Snap after ignoring my texts and calls. But now I'm so over it. Nothing she does bothers me or phases me. I am just scared to rip the band-aid and make the move to break it up. Yeah, I just don't want to be alone. But for the sounds of it, you have to." For her and for you, my man. It doesn't look like you have your head properly in the game here. Um, Jesus Christ. Yeah, this is my calendar. I have lunch soon. So, this is the thing about today. Why am I recording this on a Friday morning? It's actually Friday. I'm going to post it Friday, huh? Come on. Um, this week is weird because it was such a busy week that if I squint my eyes and try to think about something else, to me it's just Wednesday because this week just flew over, man. I worked until late almost every day. I had some time in my mornings to do stuff, but I was so stuck with work last week. The children's school that I teach, they had a test. So I give classes to five different classes, five different, years, grades, five different grades. English is hard. And this week was all about giving live meetings to all of them, talking about the test, talking about what's to come. And we are only 2 weeks away from finishing this semester. so it's just a lot of work. I didn't even see the week go by. When I said earlier, making fun, that this podcast is supposedly all every Friday, I didn't even realize it was Friday. I mean, I know it's Friday. I gave 3 classes this morning that are my Friday classes, and I know this. However, I didn't remember. Like for example, right now, I finished my last class at 11 a.m. and I have a 3 hour window. Isn't that just amazing? I don't usually have these big windows during the day, but since today started at 7 a.m., I have. So I will give classes all afternoon. So I just decided to record this. Otherwise, at night I'll be just too tired. I'll finish it up at 8:30 p.m. So yeah. Anyway, just letting you guys know a little bit about my current situation. And again, I didn't like this story. Um, I didn't read the whole thing before coming here. I should have, because otherwise I would not have used this. It's just poorly written. It's just, I don't know. It sounds like I'm reading a teenage movie story. It's like Twilight, but worse. There's no vampires. Vampires are cool, even though Twilight kind of killed vampires. All right, last story. Again, pretty short. That's why I'm using three today. It's titled Catholic Boyfriends, 27-year-old male, broke up with me, 24-year-old female, because I'm pro-choice. Now, if you guys don't know, pro-choice means the woman gets to decide whether or not she gets an abortion. Dated for 5 months, we first talked about this topic a month ago. Yesterday, I made it clear that I would never give birth to a kid that was to be physically or mentally challenged, and he broke up with me because he would never feel comfortable making pregnant a woman that, given the circumstances, would kill his kid. He was pretty much the perfect boyfriend, and I'm devastated. That's it? Okay. Well, great. I thought you would have some sort of a conclusion there. Well, I mean, this is too delicate of a topic for me to talk about in this podcast. I'm too much of an amateur to talk about this. But I will quote Louis C.K. All right. I don't remember what show it was, but I think it's a recent one. He was just saying how you get to kill a guy, kill a person that you don't want in your house, that is invading your house, and you don't get to kill a person that is inside of your body. And he was, making fun of this irony, how by law you are allowed to kill a guy or a girl that enters in your property without your permission. And if you don't want the kid, so if the kid doesn't have his permission to be there, and yeah, of course, I'm not an idiot. I understand that this is the mother's and the father's fault. It's not the kid's fault. The kid's not choosing to invade that body. I know he just said that for a joke, but I'm quoting him here because I think the woman should be allowed to choose. It's their body, and the guy can just walk away. Maybe pay alimony, maybe not. If he's a piece of shit, he won't even do that. But he can just walk away. Now, the mother will carry the child for 9 months. It will alter her body, her hormones. It will alter everything in her life, in her body, her emotion, everything. Is just such a huge toll for a woman to go over. And if she doesn't want to, and if so happens that she got pregnant, I think she should have a choice. So I guess I am pro-choice, not for the same reasons as this girl, physically or mentally challenged. I mean, I think if you don't want the kid, it's a one thing because then you're just gonna be a shitty mother and you might as well get rid of the kid because we don't need more shitty mothers that just make shitty upbringers. Fuck, I forgot this term. Whatever. I don't know. I just think that if you don't want the kid, you should be allowed. The woman should be allowed. Of course, not the men. The men should have no say in the abortion, but the woman should. It's her body after all, and she'll have the biggest responsibility. I mean, of course, usually nowadays this is all changing, of course, but culturally, up until a few years ago, the men were the provider. So I kind of get the idea that the men could be part of this decision. But since a few decades ago to today, that's not the case anymore. Women are just as providers as men. Not in every place of the world, of course, but here in the West, here in Brazil, and I'm guessing the United States and a lot of places in Europe, you know, like she should have the choice. That's just what I think. I don't know if you guys agree. I think the only reason to not give the woman choice is religion. That's the only thing. Most people, not the only ones, but most people that I see that are against this choice, that anti-choice, if you are pro-choice or anti-choice, I don't know. I don't know what the other term is, but I think you should have the choice. And the only people, or most of the people that are against it, are religious folk. Because religiously speaking, it's a sin, and you are killing a baby, and if you kill it before it's baptized, it doesn't go to heaven, and you don't have that right, it's alive, and etc., etc., etc. Like, it's too complicated for me to talk about it here. I could talk about being religious, being progressive, being conservative, being not religious, being an atheist, and all that stuff, but this would take too long, and this podcast is already reaching its mark. I don't know if this was an interesting one, but at least it's here, I guess. It's been a while that I wrote something, so if you listened until now, if you listen until the end, thank you for tuning in. Hopefully you had a good time. And I'm sorry about my voice. I was pretty sick this morning. I almost had to cancel all my classes. I don't know what happened. I was just not being able to breathe properly. And I have a problem that is called rhinitis. And I just checked the pronunciation because I'm not sure. But rhinitis in Portuguese it's rinite. So anyway, I have rhinitis, and so this morning was just rough. It was so rough, I was getting dizzy. So in the middle of the class, I almost passed out. That's crazy. Right now, I'm starting to feel dizzy again. I ate and I drank a lot of water, and I tried to just clean my nose a little bit, but it was clean and it is clean, so it's not that's not the problem. I don't know. I'm just feeling weird today, a little bit sick. Hopefully, it's nothing, right? It would be fun if this was my last podcast because of dire circumstances. Anyway, guys, thanks for tuning in once again. We should have two other episodes up until Sunday, so be aware for that and have a great weekend. See you guys the next one.